Ilya Dragunov defeated Walter for the NXT UK Championship in one of the most brutal encounters in not just WWE, not just NXT, but wrestling history. Both of these men were left bruised, marked up, bloody after this match. And my God, this was one of the best matches of the year that I've ever seen in my life. These
was a match.
Hitting each other with hard chops, stiff knee shots to the back, stiff elbow shots to the back of the head. Walter just dropping Ilya Dragunov suplex after suplex after suplex. The real suplex city right here, bitch. But this was an amazing match, and we saw that Walter, after over 800 days of holding the NXT UK title, the longest running champion in modern WWE history, defeated by the upstart, the underdog, Ilya Dragunov. And my God, Trevor, this match, everyone was raving about it online. Everyone was like, there was no way that Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly were gonna follow this. There was no way Karrion Kross and Samoa Joe could follow this. It was by far match of the weekend. What did you think about this match and the result of Dragunov winning?
So we talked about it last week, and we both said this was probably going to be one of the most brutal matches we've seen, and it really was. That strong style that both of those guys do, like, it's just ridiculous. It's crazy. Like I was cringing when I was watching the replay of it. I was literally like, ooh, that hurt. Knees to the back of the head, forearm shivers, like you said, marks all over the body, bloody. It was a massacre. It was an amazing match by two amazing wrestlers. And at this point, I almost feel like it doesn't matter what you do with Walter. Walter's over. He's over completely. So it really doesn't matter if he holds the belt, loses the belt, what you do with Walter. But I think Dragunov actually needed the belt in that situation. Not saying he's not over either, but I think in this particular situation, he needed it. And plus, I mean, Walter might be tired, might be ready for him to drop the belt and give it to somebody else. But that doesn't take away from the fact that was one of the most amazing matches I've ever seen.
This is no disrespect to Kazuchika Okada and Will Ospreay, because I think before NXT on last Sunday night, Kazuchika Okada versus Will Ospreay at Wrestle Kingdom was the match of the year. And that was like the match that started the first match of the year, basically. This was better than that match, in my opinion, my humble opinion. Yeah. Like, I know it didn't happen in Tokyo Dome, Meltzer. 15 stars out of 10 for this match. Loved it. It happened in front of 40 people. Should have happened in front of 40,000 people, because it was that good of a match. This was a match that deserved not only to headline NXT, not only to headline SummerSlam, but headline any WWE pay-per-view, any WWE WrestleMania. This was so great. You could tell these two, they've wrestled each other for years before this. They know each other. They know what each other are comfortable with. And goddamn, are they comfortable with hitting and beating the fuck out of each other?
Exactly.
It was so hard hitting, and they told us such a great story of Dragunov finally slaying the quintessential Goliath in Walter, the unbeatable monster in Walter. Because we want to talk about how Brock Lesnar has always been champion and all that kind of stuff. He has his longest reign has not even come close to what Walter's been champion for over 2 years, 2.5 years nearly.
Yeah.
Like Walter is done, and his dominance and the level he's dominated is huge. And I think people are gonna look back at this and be like, oh my God, how did we not realize that this was such a huge thing? And we want to talk about not just like, where does Dragunov go from here? Because I think Dragunov, can have a good run with this title.
I think so too.
The real question is, where does Walter go from here? Because there's no indication that they're bringing him up to the main roster, and thank God for that, because they literally jobbed him in 3 minutes. The last time he had a main roster match at Survivor Series, they jobbed him in like 3 minutes, which you don't do that to Walter. But does he stick around with NXT UK? We know NXT itself is rebranding there, so that's probably not an option for him. What do you think is next for Walter, as far as what can he even do in NXT UK or wherever he goes?
I mean, there's a lot of things I think Walter could do. Walter could literally do anything. He's a very talented wrestler. extremely talented wrestler. He can do almost anything. I just hope they don't push him onto the main roster. I hope they don't like ruin him that way. But what I was thinking, they could put him on NXT, and possibly we could get a Samoa Joe Walter match.
Oh, don't tease me with that. That would be awesome.
We could
Oh my
possibly get a,
god.
a Walter Samoa Joe match. I think that would steal any show that you put it on.
But
It
they're
probably,
not gonna do that.
but they're not going to do that. You know why? Because WWE doesn't think that way. But Triple H, Shawn Michaels, if you're out there, you're listening. That's gold. That's a great way to do it.
Take my money if that's the match. Like that would be awesome. Could you imagine Walter kicking out
Muscle Buster.
the Muscle Buster? Could you imagine the Coquina Walter just slapping the shit out of Joe to get out of the Coquina clutch? Like
I mean,
that.
it would be amazing. It would be an amazing match. It would. I mean, and honestly, it would make sense because think about it like this. Like we were talking about earlier, and we're probably going to get to later. Well, you know what? Not ruin the conversation that we're going to talk about later, but it could happen. It can definitely happen.
It should happen. It probably won't happen because of the way NXT is currently being restructured. And Nick Khan talked about this in a very infamous interview now with Ariel Helwani over the weekend. Recommend you guys check it out. Ariel Helwani asked some pretty good questions. But for Walter, I think Walter is going to end up going back to NXT UK, and I think that's probably what's best for him. He's probably going to be dormant for a little bit, and then
For a little bit,
yeah, for a little bit, and then he's either going to do one of two things: one, get involved in the more basic feud with someone else, maybe another guy they're trying to bring up, or he's gonna take a few months off and then go right after Dragunov, and they're gonna have Walter Dragunov 3, which if you do it right, Walter wins. I don't care. I'm sorry. Walter is my favorite guy in probably the entire WWE because they got rid of WWE, let go of all my favorite guys. But I think Walter is no matter what he does, like you said, he's going to be fine unless they put him on the main roster. Because if they do that, then I don't know. I don't know what you do with that, right? Because WWE has shown they don't like people who are booked well in NXT and people who have great matches, because that's Walter's entire gimmick. Walter is not like the guy who's going to come out there and cut like, a charismatic 5-star promo, even though he doesn't need to. Like him saying, I'm going to come there and smash you. Like that is a 5-star promo for me because I know it's damn true. But he's the kind of guy who's going to get over because of how brutal he is and how menacing he looks and how intimidating he is. And you know what the sad part is? I think Walter is going to face very similar criticism to what Samoa Joe faced early on in his WWE run. And look, it's not pretty to say, but it's the truth. Vince is probably going to look at him and be like, "Oh, who's this out of shape fat guy?" Because that's exactly what he said about Samoa Joe. He said Joe was a quote fat Samoan.
About Kevin Owens.
And the same thing about Kevin Owens. Thanks for watching this video from Real Take Sports Talk. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Also remember to check out our live show every single Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on the YouTube channel. And remember, keep it real.